to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast. I am your host, Anna Alston, and it is once again to bring quality programs to all of you, such as the BMWC. We are back here in 2019 with year 4. You guys are going to hear me say this more than over 58 times because this year we have 58 participants who is here to represent, including 2 individual young entrepreneurs, and one of them is here today, Miss Halle Amor. She is here going to be talking about her books and what she's doing along with her mother, Vanessa Drake. So I can't believe that we have people such young as 8 years old or 9 years old that is doing amazing things. And so we're going to get into that podcast just a little bit later. Just in case you didn't know what we are all about, the BMWC is here to unify all of our businesses and careers and share that information so that you get inspired about your career in business. So make sure that you check out all of the pages and listen to all the podcast recordings so that you can get a handle and get the information that you need to make an informed decision. Now, before we get started with our interview today, we would like to take a moment to thank our corporate sponsors who are My Financial Home, Evangelism Radio, J&F Enterprises, Sears Consulting, Autism Families Rock, Awakening to Love, Eli Natoli, Kimberly McLemore, True Synergy, and Platinum Financial Services, along with all of our BMWC participants that is here to make this season a huge, huge success. So today I am extra excited because we have a young lady that is taking the world by storm. Her name is Halle Amor Moore, and she has a mom on here, Vanessa Drake, which I am so excited to hear because this young lady became a best-selling author at the age of 8. And her bestseller entitled The Pages of Life, A Complication of Poetry, hit #1 in the philosophy and social aspect of education category in Amazon. Halle has also gained national attention after being featured on TV and media airways across the country, and her story has been featured on Fox 5, Gravity, BuzzFeed, and Houston Chronicles, and more. In addition to that, she is going to have a spot in the April edition of the BMWC magazine. So please make sure you pick up a copy and subscribe at ALSTNTEC.com BMWC Mag to get your copy of the magazine and all of those on here. So I want you to continue reading her bio, and we're going to bring on to the podcast Halle. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, Vanessa.
Hi.
It is such a pleasure having the 2 of you on here. I am so excited. And let me just tell you, I am so proud of you, Halle, for going out there and writing this amazing book. And so I have to tell you that I saw an article online through LinkedIn and had to reach out to you to get you part of this podcast platform. And so I'm going to begin the conversation, with Vanessa. Just tell everybody about who you are and where you're from and, what is your general interest and your occupation.
Okay, so I'm Vanessa Drake, and I have 4 children. Holly's my oldest daughter, and what I do is I run a speakers agency for professional speakers, and I basically just manage them, from day to day. And I also now, I manage my daughter. We didn't really think about that happening this soon, but it's just been a really amazing journey for her. I write as well, and her father does too, so it was kind of an innate talent for her.
Mm-hmm.
But she's definitely, she's probably a better writer than I am, and her dad as well. And she's already, she's only 9 at this point, so we're just really proud of her.
Okay. Alrighty. So did you always have an interest in writing and just managing, or was this something that you stumbled on across your own career background?
Well, I've always been a writer. It was just my passion, but I didn't do it for a living. One thing led to another. I was an entrepreneur, and I became a personal trainer actually. Then it kind of led me from that to health coaching, and I was realizing a lot of people needed more than just help, doing push-ups or sit-ups, and it became kind of like a counseling sessions for them. And so we would just talk about a lot of different issues that they were having, and that led me to writing more. And so I've always tried to help people and help them, become the best that they could become. And I started writing. I had been in a couple of magazines, and I was planning to be a professional speaker years ago, but I just never pursued that dream. I would just kind of speak on behalf of my, health coaching company.
Okay,
And
absolutely.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So then Holly, once she began,
Hmm.
writing, and we saw that she was a natural talent. One thing just led to the other, and I went ahead and
Hmm.
created my speaking agency, and now she's one of she's one of my clients.
Wow, absolutely. So Hallie, let me ask you a question. What do you like best about writing?
What I like best about writing is that you can express yourself because sometimes when you're talking, you really want to say something, but you shouldn't say it. But when you're writing, you can write whatever you want.
Wow. Okay. And so did you decide to become a writer because your mom was so good at writing?
No, ma'am. Actually, I was homeschooled, and then one day she just told me to write something,
Hmm.
and then I started writing. And then I thought it was really good, and now it's a habit.
You know what? That's a really good habit to break. I mean, not to break. I don't even want you to break that. I don't even know why I said that. But you know what? I am just excited because here you are writing a book, The Pages of Life, A Complication of Poetry. So tell me a little bit about your book and what type of poetry that you are writing about.
My book is about education and nature, human rights, and yeah, that's what it's about.
Okay. And so what inspired you to write this book? What gave you the ideas?
Uh, I decided to write about life because what better to write than about the world because it's
Wow.
two stuff.
Wow, that's powerful. What else to write but about the world? Absolutely. And so what has been your what was the best part of the book when you wrote it? What's the best part or maybe the best poem that's in the book?
The life of my ancestors lives upon me.
Okay. So Vanessa, can you help me out and maybe talk a little bit about what exactly that might mean for her poetry so that we can have a better understanding on that?
Okay, so Holly was writing. She had began writing a lot of poetry, or just speeches and stories and poetry. The life of my ancestors live upon me was actually the first one that we have that she wrote when she was, I think, 7, or she had just turned 8 at the time. I had given her. I had told her that she had to write about history in whatever way she wanted to do. I think we had recently watched what was it called, the Black Panther. What was the name of the movie that we had just watched?
Black Panther.
The Black Panther, I believe.
Oh, the Black
Oh
Panther.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she was, I believe, inspired by that, and she just started writing. She titled it on her own, "The Life of My Ancestors Live Upon Me," and that's her favorite one. But Holly, do you want to explain why that's your favorite poem of all that you included in the book?
The reason the life of my ancestors live upon me is my favorite is because it proves that my ancestors were not just here to do work and to serve people. They actually were very good at it because they knew how to move mountains
Mhm.
like before they were even born. Basically, they were very strong because other people couldn't do it, but they could. They could do stuff extraordinary that to other people because other people couldn't do that. That's why they took them. Because even though they should have not taken them, but they were like the key of America at the time because they did everything.
So I think she's trying to explain
Wow.
the one of the reasons that they were taken, and it wasn't just because of, based upon their skin color, but they were enslaved for the skill sets that they had, and
Absolutely.
that those and the people in America at the time were looking for to create and build up their country. So I think that's what she's trying to explain.
Well, you know what? I totally got it, Haley, on that because first of all, I just want to applaud the fact that you said that so well, that they had the keys to the world and they were talented enough in who they were. And as young as you are to recognize that, I think that is extraordinary. I really do. And you was about to say something else, right?
Yes, ma'am. But my name is Holly.
Okay, Holly.
And what I was going to say is also, I believe that my ancestors and everyone else's were grandmasters because they were basically, they didn't have control, but they did all the work. And they were the ones that were basically the smartest and should have been making the rules because they were the ones that made the roads we walk on, that made the schools the kids learn at.
Right. You're right, Holly.
Oh my gosh. Wow, she's so intelligent. I swear, I feel like that, she should really be like on a stage to really talk to the young people about that because there's a lot of young folks out there that really don't understand it. But here, Holly is, she's speaking pretty much history that us as grown people talk a lot all the time. And so are you planning to write a book specifically about that and maybe other things that you just talked about outside of the ancestors?
That may be the third book I write because I'm already planning a second one. But the second one is, I think I've changed what I've said on other ones. Maybe it's going to be like stories, just little stories.
So instead of a compilation of poems, it's going to be a compilation of short stories?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
wow. Okay. So let me ask you a question too. How do you feel about going on national television and telling everybody about your book and inspiring them with your poems? How do you feel about those things?
I feel proud of myself. I feel proud of myself because sometimes I used to think I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that because I was too small or other kids said I couldn't do it. And then I used to think that I couldn't do it because all these other people were saying that. But now that I know I can do it because I've done it. And if I've done it, I know I can do it.
Again.
Again and again and again. Hot dog. You know what? Can she be my daughter? That's all I want to know. I need a little Halle Amor right now in my life. I'm telling you because this young girl is saying that if she can do one thing, she knows she can do it and she has done it. She claimed it, okay? I don't know about anybody else, but they need to rewind this podcast and listen to this little girl tell everyone how she is so proud of what she's doing. So let me ask another question, okay? So in your bio, it says that while you were in Costa Rica, that you wanted to become an author, the pages of life. What is the pages of life? Is this another one that you're inspired to talk about as far as the world or life or maybe your life?
So what happened in Costa Rica that inspired you to go ahead and write? Can you explain that to her?
What inspired me was that my older brother Anthony got to write a page or something in a magazine, but I didn't. And
why couldn't you?
I could not because I was too small.
Too young for it.
Too young.
Too young. Okay.
And so my older brother got to. I was happy for him, but I was actually sad that I could not participate in writing something in the magazine.
And so, what did you decide at that point?
I decided that if I wanted to do something, I had to push on and do it myself. I couldn't just keep sitting around being sad that I couldn't do that. I had to make it happen.
Oh my goodness, she gonna make me cry on this podcast. Girl, you have to make your own opportunities. Yes, absolutely. She is such a doll to talk to. So I'm coming back to you, Vanessa. I know
Okay.
that you are a proud mother right
I
now.
really am. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, how can you or how have you been able to maintain this level of intelligence and positivity and empowerment with your kids, with Holly, especially in her older brother Anthony, going out there and just showing them that they can do amazing things with writing? What has been like your push through for that?
Well, just the way that I run my home is I try to answer pretty much any question that they ask and just let them know that there's never a dumb question and that you always want to be, curious and inquisitive and, just try to figure things out and use your resources. So, Holly, she's a very just naturally, she asks a lot of questions and so I try to, tell her, okay, well now take this question and let's do some research on it, and then you're going to write about it in the end so that it can really, penetrate your mind, and you won't just have a question today and forget about it the next day. So we write a lot. Sometimes when they make mistakes or they make bad decisions, we write then too. We write on the weekend. She's always right. All of my kids are always writing. Right. Well, now Holly writes a lot on her own, even without someone prompting her, because she self-identifies as a writer at this point. And as far as positivity, we do a lot of positive affirmations. Sometimes if I'm noticing that, I feel that they're being a bit more negative than they tend to be, they do self-talks in the mirror and they remind themselves that they are a kind person, that they are a forgiving and a loving person, that they're a good friend, daughter, son, whatever it is, so that they can hear themselves and change the narrative, within their own self instead of having to find outside sources to tell them to be a better person.
Wow, absolutely. So let me ask the question. Maybe you can answer and she can answer. Do you plan to have her certified as a motivational speaker? Because she has that skill, definitely for sure. And I know that there are some young writers that are pursuing that. So is that an option? Is that something that, Holly, is that something that you want to become?
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to. I had been looking into the Les Brown
Hmm.
program that they have for speakers, and it's been a lot considering that Holly, she had just published her book January 8th, and everything just kind of catapulted from there. And even now she's done Radio Disney as well, so we've kind of not had any downtime. Uh, so we're taking it a bit slow, we're as slow as we possibly can, to let her enjoy just the success that she's seen from the book. But definitely, Holly's a natural writer. She's a natural speaker and storyteller, and that's something that she wants to do. She wants to be on the stage. She has an event coming up in April where she's going to be doing a motivational speaking engagement. And she's been really looking forward to that and just asking a lot of questions. So yeah, definitely we want her to be certified as a personal, as a public speaker or as a motivational speaker, and just kind of see if she will be able to make a greater impact for not just children her age, but for adults as well. Because I think that a lot of us have been inspired by what she's been able to get done at just 9 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have maybe two more questions for you and Hallie. So, what is besides books and things like that? What do you like to do for fun outside of writing books and speaking to kids?
I like to dance and talk to my friends, and then sometimes my friends get annoyed because I have a habit at school of just singing to myself, and I like to watch. YouTube and Netflix and TV. A lot of
Oh.
TV.
I like to watch Netflix and TV too. What about you, Vanessa?
You know, well, I don't watch YouTube a lot, Holly. I think what I enjoy most for my downtime is just reading. I read a lot. Not necessarily. I read a lot of self-help books, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just really entertaining for me. And then I spend time with my kids. You know, I have 4 kids, and my sister had and her husband, they have 3 kids, and we do communal living. So in our house, it's 7 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really not a lot of downtime for pretty much any of the adults. But yeah, so I think if I could do anything just when all the kids are asleep, I'm probably reading a self help book
Mm-hmm.
or writing something.
Or
Honestly,
writing something. Okay,
yeah.
awesome. All right. So, Holly, I have one more question for you. So, what do you need from people who are listening that can help you do what you're doing, whether it be writing a book or speaking or watching TV? What do you need?
I need what I need is to see that other people are trying to put themselves out there instead of just hiding. Because if you want to do something, if you just stay there, stay what you're doing now, and don't do anything, then you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if your dream will ever become a reality.
Wow. I don't think you need to add any more to that, Holly. That was perfectly said. And for also for you, Vanessa, what do you need to do to keep thriving?
I think that I need to just remain consistent and persistent. You know, we have a saying in my house where and it goes, we either win or we win. There's losing is never an option. We just try to strategize and recalculate route and figure out if something didn't work the first time, what is the different way that we can tackle the situation and make it happen. And so I think that it's really important for my kids to remember that, for myself to remember that, and for other people to know, that like no matter what, no matter what happens, you can always recalculate route
Mm-hmm.
and take a few steps back and reassess and still find a way to win. So I think if I can tell anyone anything, I
Mm-hmm.
would just leave them with, you either win or you win, period.
That's right. So Vanessa, I have one final question for you. Is there any like activities such as events or speaking engagements or even book signings that you and Holly will be at so people can meet her in person or purchase one of her books?
Definitely,
Or the capable.
yeah, definitely. And I wish that I had it in front of me. But,
Mm-hmm.
Holly, like I said, Holly has an upcoming book signing in Clifton, I believe it's Clifton Forge, Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
April 13th. And we're still kind of solidifying a few other book signings between now and then afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is on Holly's website, hollyspeaks.com, where people can find out more information and figure out where she is, and they can even request that she comes to their city, and
Mm-hmm.
we will work it out from there.
Awesome. So let me just first say, Vanessa, you have a beautiful daughter. Haley, you a beautiful girl. You are
Thank you.
beautiful. And let me tell you something. You need to keep doing what you are doing. You are so blessed with everything that you got going on here. And I'm definitely one of your biggest fans right about now. I don't have any
Thank
daughters,
you.
but you're now my new daughter. So unfortunately, Vanessa, I now have a new daughter named Holly. Okay. So but I am so proud of you, sweetheart. And for everybody who is
Thank
listening,
you.
let me tell you something. If you don't hear this little girl right now, something is wrong. Okay, she is what 9 years old, right? 9 years
Yeah.
I
old.
know.
doing such amazing things. So if you like this interview, please make sure you like and vote and share this interview. And also, while you're at it, make sure that you're checking out all of the other young entrepreneurs that we had in past seasons. And we have another young man that we're going to be having on here as well, who is an author and a speaker. So we have to support our young folks. We have to make sure that they know that they can do any and everything because it has been done. And I know that they can do it. So thank you, Holly. I think I got your name
You're
pronounced because
welcome.
she set me straight earlier. She set me straight. So thank you, Holly and Vanessa, for being on the podcast today. It was definitely a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.